press buttons?
Well, we are
Does anyone have...
we are mostly all here, which means we're mostly not all there.
I'm just looking at you, Crash. You can't see me, but I'm just looking at you.
For the record, I am paraphrasing, they might be giant, or they might be
But have you
giant.
pressed the button?
I have pressed a button. There are many like it, but this one is mine.
And it is the one that starts the recording.
It is definitely not saying that it is a 30-second bomb. It was also not a button to activate a Reuben sandwich. That was detonated in the last session.
Indeed. You finally got to detonate your Reuben sandwich.
By dropping it down an elevator shaft. It was the best I could have hoped for. Other than convincing Weesey to eat it first.
That would have been the absolute worst burp ever.
It would have been hilarious
So, hi.
from behind a blast shield.
I'm not even sure a blast shield would have protected you, but anyway. Hi, this is Beth. Welcome to GURPS Wars, a homebrew GURPS Star Wars with Crash and Ellie and EO, and I think I do the what happened last time. I mean, obviously a Reuben sandwich got detonated by being thrown down a turbo lift shaft, but aside from that, does anyone want to explain?
Zisha did not heroically refrain from murdering Nedra. No one would have blamed her. No judge in the galaxy would have convicted. And yet she refrained. Heroically. She overcame her impulsiveness.
I know what you meant, but how you worded it was, you did not refrain.
Hello,
I didn't mean to rephrase it that way.
Here, Flicker, do you want to sit? Hello, pretty girl. Excuse me, but the sick cat who has a feeding tube and a feeding tube collar has decided that she will come and sit on my lap.
Oh.
So, check off your bingo cards. Cat has interfered with gaming.
Has not bothered me at all because I have a space heater that's shaped like a radiator, so it doesn't have a fan that blows the hot air out. And I have turned that on, and I don't need Cat TV. Cat is watching Radiator.
Yeah.
Warm. Anyway, Zisha has not shot Nedra. Heroic.
Zisha spent most of the last session sitting in the cockpit, twiddling her thumbs and waiting for Wolrock and Rotini to be done with combat. So maybe they should recap.
I was playing Space 1812 Overture in my space earbuds as I threw explosive after explosive.
I conducted a reverse invasion.
An army of ducklings assaulted more than one security officer.
But on our way out.
Not like Space This. Not like Space This.
And then there was a flash
Not
mob
spacing.
that no one was expecting except us.
It turned into an impromptu dress-up convention with people selling snacks and like stickers and pins and stuff.
There was one person dressed as Darth Vader with a sign that said free hugs.
Probably. After all, it's probably not the first time that that particular Darth title has been used in the future.
That's true. You run out of words with prefixed with in.
Indeed. I mean, then there's Darth Vader, who is someone who has very good invisibility skills.
And Darth Deed, who just verifies things.
Don't break EO.
And everybody got in their cabs and flew off to safety, which in many cases was someplace on Ord Mantell where they can lay low for a while. And in other cases was back to the ship, which is currently the rock and roll time. The Bucephalus is about a dozen parking spaces away.
Yes, you managed to stick something onto their ship to make it seem like that was their code, if I recall correctly.
Yes. And Zisha can't believe that this whole thing worked. She's genuinely a little stunned.
But it did. It worked perfectly.
It did work perfectly up until Nedra showed up.
Yes.
One of the ragtag band of adventurers. Right place.
But the other ragtag band of adventurers.
Yes.
What's the name of Elbow? For some reason, all I was getting was Oreo.
That's going to be the next one after I detonate Elbow.
Not Bowtie?
Maybe Bowtie.
Flicker, what do you want?
Cuddles.
No, she jumped down, so maybe I was touching her too much. Maybe she didn't want to be touched. She just wanted to sit on me. I don't know. Now she's just sitting over here.
You were tolerating the experience, therefore she needed to find a way to annoy you.
Oh, I'm not annoyed. I'm just worried that she's hungry or something, because,
Oh yeah,
but
you weren't
she was
annoyed.
only fed like
that
a
was
couple
the
hours
problem.
ago.
She jumped up on
Maybe.
you, and she was not the inconvenience that she had planned.
Well,
I
she'll go
barely made it
stalking
to the
off
game
then.
tonight because I took a nap and I woke up with Socket sitting on my leg. I couldn't.
And then you moved? You monster!
Fortunately, he decided to move of his own volition, and I was free. But
Oh,
it was a
good.
good half
Oh,
hour
good.
before that happened.
Oh, no.
I had to sit there using my phone instead of a computer, like one of the youths.
You all got to the ship, and you were about ready to make your escape, and then CSD4 and Nedra showed up with one of the men from the other group, and Nedra was explaining that they had to break people out because people were trapped. As I recall, that's where we ended it. So, and there was a heroic lack of shooting Nedra because you did not spontaneously develop force powers to, force choke her.
And you couldn't use elbow. Elbow is too close to the Bucephalus.
Mm-hmm. And your droid.
I can rebuild the droid.
Nedra, I need you to listen to me. We are coming back because we have more people to pick up. When we come back, if the people in the hospital are still in trouble, we'll help them. Otherwise, I have faith that they can get out on their own, just like I could get out on my own. If you want to stay behind and help them, you're welcome to. If your friend wants to come with us, he's welcome to. But we are leaving.
Nedra looks worried. The bearded fellow, he's not that old, but he's got a little beard and looks like he's a bit worn from time and possibly hanging out on planets that don't have a lot of sunscreen and really need it. And he is rubbing his head and occasionally trying to stare at Zorak if Zorak is not making themselves scarce.
They are not.
He keeps sort of staring and rubbing his head and staring and rubbing his head. And
Listen, I already have a departure code. I am not going to pay a fine for not using it. I need to get back in the cockpit so that I can take off. Either strap in or go back outside and we'll pick you up when we get back. Which is it?
Nedra looks entirely baffled, woeful, and looks at the man and says, Kodo, who goes, I can't leave the others alone. Nedra, you stay
Tell you
here.
what, we'll send Elbow with you. He's a good friend and a good companion. And if you really need to, you can blow him up.
What?
Well, it'll take down the wall outside the hospital so you can get in and get your friends.
I moved the rope
My
a little
good
bit to show that Elbow is, in fact, a souped-up mouse droid.
You made a Jawa droid that explodes?
Utini!
Kind of what he does.
Okay, sure. Any resources, we'll take the droid. What happened at the auction? What happened when the thing we were trying to sell was shown?
Well, it wasn't. You've still got plenty of time on that front.
Criff, that's what we have to do. And if we do it, maybe the criffing voices in my head will shut up.
Oh, Rollrock, is there something you can do about that?
I can make an attempt.
You're of course you're trained. Got it.
Obviously.
There's
Hold still.
that's not a good roll. Oh, but you made it by 1. Mind probe. Let me just make a roll here. Ooh. Okay, this person is force sensitive. He is partly trained. He has not been trained in mind shields, or maybe something has pulled them down, because the times that you've been trying to mess with Nedra, I believe you've occasionally sensed things talking around her and despite her and something.
Yeah.
There are several things that are talking to Kodo. It's a bit difficult to determine what they're doing. The main thrust of it appears to be that it is taking several of them to basically keep yelling some concept equivalent of obey at him.
Your teacher, whoever they were, did you a disservice.
My teacher said that I was a bad student, but I'm not going to fall to the dark side.
That is not my problem.
Right. What criffing disservice. This didn't happen. This didn't happen before.
They did not teach you how to properly shield your mind. Whatever is in there has taken root in numbers. How many of the ice cream machines did you handle?
What?
From
The
the
little
ship several bays down,
containers
we
that have the-
hear.
Just the one. Just that one that is being sold at the auction because Nedra knew there was going to be an auction.
Knowing
and
that
did the voices start first?
I am going to need a lot of painkillers if you want to keep asking me questions about that. Can't talk about it. I can't talk about it. I can't talk about it. I can't talk.
Don't listen to them. Listen to me.
I don't want to listen to them, and if I don't listen to them, my head's going to explode
Rotini is interested in this conversation.
because of explosions.
Yeah, Rotini has a lot of brain cells, but they tend to all be the same brain cell with very little differentiation. So, yes.
Dang,
he's
if
gonna
I'd
take some
rolled a
notes.
tiny bit better, that would have been a crit.
It was almost. Made it by 9. The don't listen to them part, he was not resisting whatsoever, and he's maybe iffy on listening to you, but he doesn't want to listen to them.
When did they start?
I'm not supposed to say, but you might want to get a grip on Nedra before she attacks. They make her attack you.
Yeah, come on, Nedra. Let's take you back to your room. You need to settle in before we take off, remember?
Right. But these are bad questions. These are really bad questions.
I know they're bad questions. That's why you don't want to be here when they're asked. Come on.
Fast talk. Made by 7. Can you make it? Made by 7 overrides just made it. Disha can in fact drag, semi-drag, take by the shoulders and steer Nedra to the appropriate cargo bay where she's been living.
Zisha is going to lock down the cargo bay exterior entrance and the interior doors and let Nedra stew for a little while until we're actually in the space. Then she's going to go and check on 15, which means that Trollrock can continue what they're doing.
Odo has a hand on the nearest bulkhead and is just sort of leaning on the wall while clutching his head, muttering things like, I don't attack people, I don't attack people, I don't attack first, I don't start fights, I don't start fights, I'm not starting a this has not been hostile, I'm not starting a fight.
No, I have not been hostile. I am not starting a fight. It seems as though if I push any harder, you will come apart in the middle.
Trust me, you know if Trollrock had been hostile.
Well, I didn't catch all of that. It's not the middle that I'll...
Trust me, you'd know if Trollrock had been hostile.
Zisha yells from down the corridor. It's not the middle that's going to come apart, it's my head. I think it's localized. Criff.
I am spending another fatigue.
Okay.
I don't know if healing him will actually do any good, but...
Give me an IQ roll. You're trying to relieve his pain and or heal damage. There was some damage to heal. That's weird. There's something... You made that by 5. and you made the IQ by 2, there is something that is a separate biological presence that you probably would have overlooked if it were not currently doing things to him and large force presence because of channeling voices.
That was very choppy.
Let me adjust. How's this?
Zisha turns off the helicopter.
Better.
Okay. If you had not had you got a healing roll, you did an intelligence roll, you would probably have overlooked it, except that something in there has a very strong force presence, much more than when you've tried to help Nedra. There's 2 force presences occupying virtually the same space. One of them is somewhat localized to the base of his skull, maybe?
Found you.
Oh, I never like that laugh. I've got Nedra and the guys in port strapped down. I'm going to head back into the cockpit and start getting us ready for takeoff. You guys let me know when you're done, okay?
I will be back soon. Right. So, your little friend.
Don't have any.
I have a question for it.
Talk fast before something makes my head explode.
I am dumping a couple more fatigue, and I am almost out at this point. I do not think that's my actual tired marker because some of this is energy reserve, though I burned through that much earlier. Actually, no, I am down to my actual tired. I have burned 3 fatigue on this.
Oh, here, darling, I can give you a hand with that.
No, you can't, Took. So right now you're a little kid, probably.
Playing in Darth What's-Her-Name's sifting pool.
Yep.
Well, there was a field trip to a hut world. I had a thought. We haven't established exact ages. I'm wondering if Rand's parents are among the ducklings that we just freed.
That would be hilarious.
Can I ask
entirely
my
possible.
question?
Yes, ask your question, Zulrock.
Sorry, Ia.
It's okay. Isn't this tiring? And I am reaching out to the other presence, and I am going to try to put it to sleep.
Make a roll.
Do you want mind tricks, or do you want mind probe for trying to reach in that far?
You already did a mind probe, which you made by, I think, yeah, you made by 1. Go ahead and give me another mind probe because you're trying to hone in on this and not on Kodo. So let me put this up. Made by 9. Swolrock, give me a
Yes.
fright check.
No.
No, I think I want a fright check on this.
I'm immune to fright checks.
What is your... Oh, you've got it.
This counts as the
Unfazable.
bingo square that
Unfazable.
says sadly immune to damage from your character specifically.
Okay, give me a roll against Will then, because this may not be a fright check per se, but this is certainly going to be an interesting thing, and also it will give me the time I need to open up what I am looking for.
Very fair. However,
No, you are not giving me a fright check because you don't have to.
why did clicking roll not roll Will?
Made by 10.
Insert long pause. So there is a single point, a single mind that is in something that is implanted or burrowed or something into Kodo at basically the base of his skull. There were at least 3 presences, individual presences that were bearing their will focused through that one mind. Beyond that, you're reading a telepathic network that you are getting at least a half dozen prime mines, a dozen secondary ones, and possibly it's definitely into triple digits, but you're not quite sure how far in, of tertiary mines that the prime ones can control. There's a lot of them. One of the tertiary nodes links over to the cargo bay over there. There's a few others that are definitely on planet. It's kind of weird, and the mines that you're contacting are very not any kind of sapien you have encountered before. They are weird, and they don't think like you think. They're also rather hostile. And they do appear to be trying to, more of them are turning their attention, of the prime minds are turning their attention to the focus point that is in Kodo's head.
I am trying to get that focus point, that physical mind, to fall asleep, fall unconscious, shut down, whatever.
You've got telekinesis. You could try to squish it.
I could, in fact, try to squish it.
You made your healing other by 5. You've made all of these rolls by 9 and 10. You have a pretty good idea of where it is right there. You could try to squish it, or possibly explode it.
Rotini takes a step back.
It's small, whatever it is, like thumbnail sized.
Fine. You had your chance to cooperate.
Made telekinesis other by 6. So, squish or explode?
Squish. I don't think it should explode in the base of his spine.
Yeah, well, that would be a little bit something concerning.
Squishing it, he's probably still going to need a hospital visit to avoid it getting all infected, rotting in there, but
he makes a noise. It is a noise that is somewhere. It's the sort of noise that someone makes if you've yanked a dagger out of their body just before you heal them, which, healing is kind of painful when you do it because, well, dark side healing tends to be.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
but hey,
look,
heals
the problem
are heals.
was there was too much blood in them. We pulled the cork. It's a knife-shaped cork.
Yeah, and then you have to heal them.
Mm-hmm.
Falls down. If I assume you're touching him to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Sort of clutching at you, despite the fact that, oh no, you're a terrible Darksider. There's something at the station. It's implanting these in people. The others.
Yes.
The others are in the other Corellian ship. They've got in too. They're making us do stuff. He falls unconscious.
I am going to pick him up and carry him in to the med bed.
I will move him to the med bed. Boop.
Well, this causes several problems.
Parasites. They are literal parasites as well as force parasites. And they tried to slip one on to us.
Rotini said this in the chat. He's going to say it again, only louder for the people in the back, which is the people who are right around him because it's a small ship. I knew I should have fixed that ice cream machine and turned it into a heater. It's technically a heat pump, easy to reverse.
I am going to the cockpit to inform Captain Zesha of what is going on. And then I am going to sit in a corner and meditate. And if I fall asleep, that's just a deep meditation.
Self-care is important. I'll press the buttons over here.
Go ahead and make your meditation roll. Zesha has made a piloting roll by 5.
I am attempting to remember where the crew quarters are.
12.
12.
12.
All right, flight control. My crew gives me okay to launch, so we'll be out of your hair in 3, 2, 1. Lift off.
Bucephalus rises out of the person's hair. They have been stuck under the landing gear this entire time.
Tragic but necessary.
Look, if we lifted off even a little bit, we'd have to re-register for our landing coordinate.
Traffic control, we are free of atmosphere. This is rock and roll time. Signing off.
All right, rock and roll. Have fun out there, and don't hit any pirates.
Do my best, traffic control. You have a good day.
Rock and roll.
Yep.
Let me just do a wee little thing.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is your captain speaking. We're about to hit hyperspace in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Here we go.
Make an engineering roll.
I'm assuming that you're asking a specific person to make an engineering roll because
Yes,
of who here can make an engineering roll. But also made by 7.
I am not making one.
Oh, come on, it'd be fun.
The ship.
I asked you to hand me that wrench. No, the wrench. No, the other wrench.
They're meditating.
If Shulrock was there and being told to hand things, you would get every tool in the bay floating over to you, and
Which should be very convenient, except that then I would not be able to move because I'd be walled in by every tool in the bay.
yeah.
Visha, as you
Fair.
are hitting hyperspace, you notice that the other Corellian freighter has also lifted off and is on a track identical to yours.
There's nothing wrong with this whatsoever.
But you're in hyperspace. Nothing's going to happen out here.
Nothing ever happens in hyperspace. I say recalculating the route.
What happens in hyperspace stays in hyperspace.
There's your nav.
With an engineering score of 18, I know that's not true. However,
I assume that you are working on making the trip back to where you last left the Imperials.
Yeah, I'm with that nav roll. I'm having seen what I saw. I am preparing to add about 12 hours to a day to our time. Basically, I'm going to drop out of hyperspace, take a left for about 12 hours, and then continue on the previous path.
You're going to take a few of those little side hyperspace lanes, and yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. You're going to be in hyperspace for a little while, so since you're not going to be trying to break people out of a hospital for some reason, what are you up to?
Ladies and gentlemen, we reached our cruising altitude. I have disengaged the locks on the cargo room doors, and you are now free to move about the cabin.
Does that include Nedra?
No, Nedra needs a nap.
I'm making sure that the med pod scrapes all of the parasite out of the base of this guy's skull.
You have a med bot.
At an angle. Med pod, the med bay.
One of those things. Basically, whatever
There
you
is a
can do for
medical-
this guy to make sure that he doesn't have a rotting X-parasite in his skull, that's kind of what I want to do.
Do you have surgery
It's part of
skill?
Starship.
I don't.
You
but
have
don't
surgery
we have
skill.
automation?
In the Star Wars universe? Unless you have a Metroid?
I think the med bay can only do what you direct it to. However, it would be serendipitous if C5D4 were a former medical droid.
That would be very serendipitous.
Would be serendipitous.
Because right now I'm looking through the instruction manual. Yes, I know. Shut up. I'm looking through the instruction manual and I'm saying, Bacta. I don't even think that exists yet.
Indeed.
How am I going to fill a
Kolto.
tank with that?
Space MS-DOS 3.15 medical bay.
You do not want to hand me a knife and trust that the Force will sustain him until I have completed the extraction.
I distinctly remember not suggesting that, but yes.
Am I using my serendipity?
You are using your serendipity. You now have one serendipity left. Why is a token?
Yes.
All right.
So I've about 90%.
So I've gone over to CSD4 saying, hey, you know a lot of languages. What's this word mean in the user manual?
Oh, hello. Yes. Oh, this. This is an outdated user manual. This user manual for the... Oh, dear. No, these are
It's
not
okay.
best
The Padawan
practices.
here is also outdated.
What? Let me go see. Oh, What is it you are attempting to accomplish?
Rocky said that they squished a parasite in this guy's head, and a squished parasite is probably not something you want to leave in someone's head. So we got to get it out before it starts to rot.
Foreign matter inside the patient's head. Please help me turn the patient over and lay the head at this angle. Do we have a proper pillow for breathing? Where is the Colto tank breathing apparatus? Oh, we do not have a Colto tank on this ship. Where is the breathing apparatus?
I figured
We must not
just
obstruct
filled
the patient's airway.
Environment with oxygen, and we were good.
Mask. A mask is required to cover the nose and mouth.
Oh,
Captain?
hold on.
I got a neck pillow in my quarters. I can go get it wraps around your neck, but if you put it like under his forehead, it'd keep his face off the bed.
That will have to suffice.
Perhaps one of the suits in the airlock has a mask.
Oh yeah, we've got zero G.
We don't need to get a suit from the airlock. I have the mask that went with this, but I thought we didn't need it, so I repurposed it for filtering fumes when inventing things. I'll be right back. I run
work.
into engineering and pull it back out. I left all the attachments on because I thought it made it look space punky.
Zisha? I heard Zisha saying something.
I said I wondered what happened to that. Oh, hey guys, yeah, you can come out now. Your buddies in the carbonite still showing green?
They appear to be.
I couldn't find any sign of. I couldn't find any sign of your of the other two that they just weren't. They weren't at the warehouse, and I couldn't find. Weesey's got them, but she's hidden them somewhere pretty good.
Well, if you got us out, then maybe there'll be more time.
Yeah. Oh, and we got your enlisted off to what do you call it? A nondescript location where they can lay low for a while. We're going to come back and get them. We just don't have the air to get you back to the fleet at once.
Understood. Any of us is thank you. And they notice Swolrock standing a bit behind Zisha and basically
possibly leaning against the wall a little bit.
They all go down to their one knee and are doing a devout sort of, my lord, thank you for sending for sending the captain here to rescue us.
The captain sent herself.
Yeah, but you're eternal servant and everything. You guys have
Shorrock face palms.
You have 6 little ducklings looking up, looking extremely. We are saved. We are saved. The Sith sent someone back for us.
I think you have a few misapprehensions regarding this ship's functioning.
No, it's very apt, oh great and powerful Lord. Please do not make me duct tape myself.
I'm playing along. Zisha around the corner is doing the hands flat cutting motion. I'm playing along.
Shorrock sort of nods and
I'm going to go cook some extra meals.
But what should we do to assist, my lord?
Any of you have medical training?
No, the medic was kept with the others.
Ooh.
I am assuming that CSD4 translated that. Or I'm going to have to actually watch what I say because they speak Jawa.
CSD4 absently translated. The Jawa asks if anyone has medical training.
Does anyone have medical training? I do.
And Tuxa, no
What?
time travel.
No, I was being CSD4.
Oh, CSD4. All right. CSD4, I think CSD4 has a little problem, which is it can't really tell people it has medical training, but it has medical training. Therefore, it is simply behaving like a med droid. It went through a few weird wipes that didn't quite work, you see, on its way to you. So telling people it has medical training? Oh no, it's not a med droid. It's a protocol droid. It's a protocol droid that is doing reasonable medical things.
Only someone like me would have medical training. Someone like me.
Indeed.
I'm someone like me.
Please make sure that no one who has not thoroughly washed their hands is in the surgical location. I will have to be operating. Is there a scalpel?
Does the scalpel also have to be washed?
Of course, it must be sterilized.
Okay. I'll rig up an autoclavicle.
Thank you.
The player is very much aware that that's the wrong term.
What? Okay.
We can rebuild him. We have the technology. It wasn't his clavicle that was injured, but after we're done with him,
Close enough.
It definitely will be.
Regrettably, I am not a specialist in shipboard anything. You will want to speak with the captain regarding what you can do to assist.
Of course, my lord. We owe you so much for the rescue.
It is a duty, if not the one I anticipated.
We are in your debt, my lord. One of them will go off to try to figure out where Zisha is. Zisha is around doing cooking and whatnot, and inquire if there is anything that... Say that out loud, Crash.
So I assume that with Explosives 20, one would have to have the knowledge of how to remove molecules from a surface, because there are some explosive reactions where you just need one molecule that's the catalyst and it spreads out from there. This is effectively sterilization. So Rotini is going to take something that he uses for bomb making, unplug it from engineering, walk it over, plug it in, swap out a few components, and say, all right, autoclavicle is ready, which is, again, not the right word for it. But I don't have any medical training, so I'm going with it.
Give me an engineering roll, and I will determine by how much you make it exactly how useful this is going to work out
Not
to be
explosives
without
roll?
more tink. No, it's going to be engineering because you know what you need to do.
But my
That's the
engineering is
explosives
only
part.
18.
And you only made it by 11.
I could have made
Yeah.
it by 13. I could have. But I am being stifled by the GM.
Stifled. Absolutely stifled.
It is an audio-only media, so you cannot see my body language as I turn my head from the microphone and pout.
And you cannot see the GM's body language as I simply nod serenely that I am stifling you. So
Imagine,
stifled.
if you will,
Utterly stifled.
a cat who has been told they are not getting additional food now that the bottom of the food dish can be seen.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway.
That's all right. I've got a cat sitting between me and the back of the chair now, which is... I have no idea if this is good for my posture or bad for my posture. In any case... CSD4?
Hey, my lord, why don't you, it's been a long day. Why don't you go, take some time to yourself? You guys,
Yes, Captain.
I assume that you haven't cooked for yourself in a while, but you're officers, right?
Do MREs count, Captain?
No. You're officers, right?
They all nod.
You can follow orders. Good. Follow me.
You have a half dozen ducklings following you.
Yes, chef.
I have a half dozen sous chefs following me.
All right, I need you to make this egg for 30 hours.
No, see, it's just...
How did I miss all three of those by one?
I have no
I'm
idea.
gonna spend the
If
next
you
to reroll
have-
that.
Also, you have multiple sous chefs assisting you. That should count as a bonus to your
Yeah.
roll.
There was a certain amount of comedy of errors with all of your sous chefs sort of bumping into things, but you've gotten your cooking straightened out, made it by 7. You are now doing a suitable amount of here, stir this, chop that, package this up, put this in the fridge, and I mean, you've got a tiny little cooking nook there, so
Yeah, I know.
it takes a little bit of working to make it all work right.
We make it work eventually.
Yes.
And we have also been playing for about an hour.
So we should take a break.
I believe I have pressed the button.
Oh, well, so long as reality agrees with you, then we're all
I have
set here,
faith
right?
that I have pressed the button.
Do not believe it further. And pray I do not believe it further.
Let us pray. Oh, Almighty Lord Zulrock,
Let us
who resides in the
let us
Bucephalus,
pray.
could you please check and make sure I pressed
I don't think the
button?
lettuce has been in the fridge that long.
It's space lettuce.
Oh, yeah, that's why I can't log in. I'm logged in over here. I was looking at the wrong Foundry window.
Whoops.
This counts as fighting with Foundry. Check
From
your bingo
it.
cards, everyone.
It's the wrong Foundry.
Does this mean it was a lost tree instead of a foundry?
I will not award XP for that.
No, it was a lost wet. And this one is wet. And this one is wet. And this one is wet.
I have a space towelette.
They were not found to try.
Did you lose these in a rainforest? Anyway,
No, we lost them on a hut world. Those tend to be dry and full of
Hut
sand.
world's
off
pretty
we
Forcing
go
it's everywhere.
into the grave through yonder.
Actually, it's the great starry black vastness,
Yeah, I know.
well, hyperspace swooshy.
If you take a
I
long
get to play the
exposure
music
shot,
that I want to play when I'm piloting.
That's fair.
the rules on the Bucephalus are: it's not the navigator who picks the soundtrack; it's the pilot.
But
Oh yeah, I switched the IDs back during the trip.
what are people doing for the, I think, as you say, approximately a week or so to get everywhere?
Yeah, I think so. Maybe 8 days because I added a day.
Mm-hmm. Approximately. I'm not going to futz with this too horribly.
I'm
I'm
replenishing
studying
my
my
bomb
written
supply.
Java.
Mm-hmm.
I'm studying my area knowledge of the rim exterior and interior. I'm cooking and I'm hanging out with the passengers.
The passengers are perpetually reminding themselves that despite the status that most Twi'leks have in the Empire, you are apparently an extremely favored minion of the resident, well, they persist in calling poor Zwolrock a Sith Lord.
I mean, they are, just not from their empire.
Well, yes, but they persist in assuming.
Yeah.
Golrock has a much, much older claim to the title.
Yeah,
You're
Yeah.
from a different
And
Sith empire, a
my-
space empire, a spempire.
They're all space empires.
I don't understand the statement.
Shulrock is actually trying to keep out of the way of the ducklings a little bit, simply because something about this is really driving home the degree to which they can't go home.
oh, poor Zwolrock.
There are all these people here who have this impression that there's some kind of relation there, and Torok feels responsible to them for it. But these aren't their people.
There's a 10-minute comedy sequence where they chase each other around the central circle of the ship. Scooby-Doo bits where they poke their heads in and out of doors.
I was going to say, if there's one part of the ship where the hallway is deceptively straight, but it's got more doors in that hallway than anywhere else.
Yeah. Zisha is going to send off that letter,
Letter.
to Weesey.
Oh, right. The thank you. Sorry about.
Let me track down the text of it.
Yes.
I imagine it was sent before we left with some type of delay, simply because otherwise I have this glorious, wonderful image of the airlock opening and a letter flying out and somehow surviving re-entry.
Just fluttering there in space. My dear Weesey, I must confess I owe you a debt of gratitude for your security. Why, without the help of your officer, but I shan't say his name. Never fear, the Imperials are safely off planet, and we thank you for their safe return. Oh, and please convey my apologies to your Zabrak receptionist, the Twi'lek agent, and her Jawa companion. The latter two of whom I gather were not affiliated with you. I'm afraid they came into some harm as a result of my escapade, which I did not intend when I began the affair. I look forward to, quote, doing business, unquote, with you again. Until next time, I remain sincerely yours, the Pimpernel.
Because your skin is green,
That's
the Emerald Pimpernel would have been glorious, but perhaps a little too on the nose.
On the
a little
nose.
too on the nose. Too on the
Also,
nose.
my skin is yellow.
The art makes
Yellow
it look green. I'm just saying.
I know.
All right.
Yeah, I'm sending that off before we go, and I'm also sending a communique. I take back, I'm not going to set the ID back to Bucephalus. I am going to say we're coming in as I am going to send a message to the Imperials while we're in hyperspace if I can.
You can probably drop out at one of your locations
at one of the times when we drop out, I'm going to send a message to the Imperials saying we're coming in under a different ID. It's the same ship. I'm the same person. I will give you my I'll give you my landing code when we get there. But I promise you, this was necessary to get get your officers off planet.
It's a different space email, spemail, of course, that we're using.
Yes.
So check your spam filter. It's probably going to get flagged because it's a similar email address, but not the exact same one.
There's I assume you're not waiting for a reply. You're just firing that off.
No, I'm not waiting for a reply. I am firing that off on, we've communicated over long distances before, and I assume there's some sort of encoding that we're using.
Yes. Yeah, you're definitely using encryption.
The Imperials might pick it up, but there's nothing actually particularly incriminating there. The Republic might pick it up, but there's nothing actually particularly incriminating there. That's just, I'm coming in on a different ID.
Except for the part where, dun dun dun, someone in the Republic is doing business with Imperials. Dun dun dun.
I'm not in the Republic.
That's true.
I'm in the Republic, but I'm not. I am studiously unaligned.
You have your ship registration out of a unaligned planet, probably a Hut one.
Yes.
The Republic will probably consider that you are not behaving in ways that they want to encourage, but they would have to catch you.
Indeed.
And they have other things to do.
Also, I am not going to say...
You're not saying what your codes are.
I'm not saying what my codes are, and I'm not saying who I have on board, or in fact, what I have on board. I'm referring to them as the cargo.
Mm-hmm.
And as far as Republic traffic control was concerned, I was picking up self-sealing stem bolts. Self-sealing stem bolts.
Self-stealing stem bolts.
Why can't I hold all these stem bolts? They keep jumping into my hands.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
That broke me for some reason.
That is the best.
I do provide a valuable service.
Bingo!
Congratulations.
So,
congratulations, Crash.
Actually, wait.
You were handed your bingo.
No, wait, I'm wrong. I checked one that I shouldn't have checked.
You're
we
wrong.
were talking about Hero Forge, but there was no actual Hero Forge character art. So I still don't have a bingo.
Oh, so
no.
close.
Yes.
Yeah, no, I was messing around designing a statuette of a space bat that I won't actually buy because it would be like $200.
All you need is a 3D printer, and then you can spend a lot less money. But then we get into the
Then I'd have
whole
to paint
Vimes
it.
boot economy.
I do not want to paint it.
Very
There
nice.
is also that. Ellie, posting a picture of your Star Trek Adventures character made in Hero Forge, I'm not going to count that for this. I need to earn this properly. Although you did a very good job with it. With that said, how Rotini is spending...
Also, you should send me that file, Io.
It's just that I'd have to paint it, and I don't want to paint it.
You don't want to paint it? Well, I could paint it.
There's standees. There's also standees. Anyway,
Rotini...
Nedra.
Well, the question was asked, what are we doing with our time?
Yeah, only Zisha has answered.
Yes.
Rotini.
Yes, Rotini, the boring part is Rotini used a lot of explosives, so Rotini is building up his stash. He has more than what he has on his character sheet stored in the Bucephalus, so he can replenish quickly, but he had to replenish at least once and then use up more, because planting small grenades throughout the entire building uses up small grenades. So that's the boring part. The interesting part for him is Zisha discovered a bug in Elbow, in that Elbow, once down, cannot get back up again without help. So Rotini is trying to get Elbow to be self-righting. Currently, as things are, Rotini has managed to engineer Elbow so that at the push of a button, Elbow moves like a weeble that has just been let go from a horizontal position and rights themselves very quickly. And Rotini has pointed this out to Zisha and said, I don't know if I should make it less creepy or more creepy.
And Zisha has said, well, on the one hand, less creepy is useful. On the other hand, more creepy is funnier.
On the gripping hand, if they're
More creepy.
creeped out by this, then that can be a distraction for the bomb launching attachment that I could put in one of the arms. On the other hand,
That's
if
true.
it creeps them out enough, everyone's staring at it while it's shooting bombs from the fingertips.
Also true.
So we've got 4 arms right now in this conversation, which that would allow for more bombs. But I've got to work
Why
on
don't you
weight
go
differentials.
put some more arms on him?
I'm gonna go hang out in engineering. Maybe you should check on Zorok, see what Zorok's up to. I got.
Yeah, I'll check on Trollrock, see if they've managed to sleep off that bug crushing. Trollrock, what are you up to?
Besides trying not to get ambushed by ducklings who make them have melancholy feelings, they are trying to meditate off the bug crushing, which I assume at this point we can assume happened off screen.
Yes, you made some meditation rolls that worked quite well, and also
No, I am not trying to somehow add more fatigue than I have. Thank you, Foundry.
Now, if you did, we get to find out if fatigue is a zero-sum integer or unsigned integer. Is be so fatigued that you actually hit a second win with infinite fatigue points.
No.
Then you'd be like
No,
Gandhi, being overly aggressive.
That's where you're burning your
Civ.
HT. That's where you're burning your HT.
I would prefer not to.
Basically, aside from the meditation, you get your fatigue back at like 1 per, I think, 15 minutes of rest, just regular resting anyway. So
Yes, but not the energy reserve.
that's true. The energy reserve you have to meditate for.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting question. Does your energy reserve come back after you've filled your fatigue bar, or does it come back first when you meditate, or do you get to pick? We don't have to worry about yet, certainly.
I assume it comes back last.
Okay,
Because because it spends first.
fair enough. Okie dokie. So you've meditated enough for that. You've rested. You would have other opportunities. What are you doing about Nedra?
That is something I am considering.
If she's showing symptoms like the other guy, who is not in fact an ebook reader, but I will only be able to think of his name like that because Ellie pointed it out.
Oda.
And I have a Kobo. It's a very nice e-reader. There is the chance that if we looked for it, we might find some signs of parasitism in her head also.
At this point, I am somewhat inclined to keep her under until we get to the Imperial ship and then wander into the Imperial Med Bay for a little bit to remove something. That is Jolrock's plan. Whether that is a plan the rest of the party likes is iffy, but Jolrock is like a cat.
100% okay with me. Incidentally and entirely unrelated to this, please do not ever teach me how to set people on fire with the power of my mind.
That is very easy, because I don't know how to do that.
When no one's looking, peel a few
if you ever find out
off of the remote for controlling Elbow remotely.
Did you put a flamethrower in your droid?
Well, I was thinking of replacing it with something that would launch micro grenades anyway. But I did say that when Rotini explodes, it's going to be with the Rotini cocktail stats, which does mean everything around. Well, I just called Elbow Rotini. I am becoming my creation.
Yeah.
It's like Frankenstein and Frankenstein's monster.
Yep.
Because the pedantic will say that the real monster was Dr. Frankenstein, but never mind about that. But yes, there is a button that if you press it and elbow is close by someone, through the power of your mind, sending an electrical impulse to your finger, which then sends an electrical impulse to that souped up mouse droid over there, you will have set many people on fire.
Well, possibly including the ship, though. So best not to do it on the ship.
Oh, no, there's plenty of fireproofing in this ship. You don't get to explosives 20 without fireproofing. Because you start off with not explosives 20, and you have to survive that. It might be that I leveled my engineering first.
Someday, we will have to figure out exactly how Zisha and Rotine met, because I'm sure that's a story. But we certainly don't have to do it right now.
That would be a wonderful prequel to figure out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because we know that we had a whole campaign that happened after we met, which basically means we start the prequel off knowing that we are invincible, immortal, cannot be touched.
Aren't you both already overconfident?
Have clones.
This
now
is
we know why.
This is why.
You are using chemical things to keep Nedra unconscious, or the Force, or...
Well, I was going to use the Force.
You might want to make some rolls.
Indeed. Which rolls do you want me to make?
Well, you're going to have to try probably a lot of mind tricks, maybe a mind probe. Made by 5, made by 3, made by 8. Okay, made by 8. Give on the mind probe. Actually, you can put, I'd figure with the mind probe by 8, you can possibly put both her and her little what's-it to sleep. She's looking a bit green around the gills.
Then I suppose I should try to roll healing on her.
Might be a good idea.
This counts as, let me look something up. Ellie has posted energy reserves in the chat.
You can heal whatever damage has been being done. She did try to scrabble away from you somewhat, but she was very bad at it, so you caught her fairly easily. Yay. She's being kept unconscious. After a couple of days of recuperation, Kodo is allowed to wake up, since the droid was using your limited stores of sedatives on him, and sort of is staring at the top and going, it's nice and quiet, and is that gonna stop?
Oh, hey, buddy.
Hi.
Probably not unless you eat another bug.
I didn't eat it. Oh, yeah, great. No headache. I mean, my head hurts a little bit.
Well, yeah, you've been under sedation for a while. It's going to take you a minute to get all your thoughts back. When I get knocked out, hangovers for days.
Right. You aware that you're on a ship with Sith Lord?
Oh, yeah. Jorah. He's a good guy.
You get the biggest side eye. The biggest side eye. Yeah, okay, fine. I can have that fight if I need to.
Hey, I mean, listen, like, I know he's like that, but he's not like that.
Considering
you know what I mean?
No,
all right.
And I don't know if it's because I was being puppeted by an alien consciousness or because I've been sedated for a while. No, I don't know.
Could be both. Both.
Listen, just take me at my word. If he'll let you, spend a little time getting to know him. He's a better guy than you think he is.
But also,
if I die, at least I'm not going to have my brainy.
Maybe if you see them enjoying a food, and you want to try some too,
yes,
let us know, because we'll have some space milk for you ready to go.
True, genuine apology. That should have been they throughout.
No worries.
I don't know why I keep doing that. It is not.
I suspect it's Devon's fault.
I don't think it's Devon's fault. I think it's just my brain is short circuiting.
Oh.
Anyway, yes, Shwolrock is they, them, and I should have said that throughout. I did not. I apologize.
Odo is like, well, at least if they kill me, my brain will not be eaten by some alien monstrosity.
Oh, that could still happen. The universe is a very weird place.
Look, they're not going to kill you. And the reason I know they're not going to kill you is because if they kill you, I'm going to have to clean it up, and then I will kill them. And it's just a whole thing. I'm going to have to clean that up, and then I'm going to have to kill myself for having made myself clean up Droll Rock. And it's
Do I
they're not going to kill
recognize
you.
this as a bit? What do I roll to see if I recognize that this is a bit?
Thank you.
This is so obviously a bit. Please don't crit fail.
Okay.
Hit by 8.
Thank goodness that I recognize that this is a bit. And Rotini, still understanding that there's only 3 people on the ship who understand him, and one of them's a droid, says, No, you wouldn't have to clean anything up. I never removed the cleaning attachments for Elbow. It would
Elbow
look a little
helpfully
weird.
goes.
It would look a little weird that there'd be a corpse and then a robotic jaw would come over and basically just walk over them again and again and again until they're gone. But it could be done. Okay, I guess I decided to make Elbow more creepy. That I've talked myself into it. That I'm just gonna do that. I'll be back in engineering.
Yeah, lean into it. Lean into it, buddy. CS, will you take our friend here over to the couch in the lounge and let him lay down on something that's actually comfortable?
Of course, sir. This way. Kodo will, in fact, go sprawl on the couch along with being assisted. I will go zoom.
Oh, and let CS know if yes, okay. Let CS know if you need something to eat.
I could eat a raw bantha right now, but also I feel pretty queasy. So I don't know. You got any bantha soup?
Here we got some soup. CS, could you heat something up?
Of course, Captain.
And then deliver it.
Of course, sir. I
CS
am
goes
not
over to
a complete cleaning droid.
CS goes over to the space microwave, it opens it, there's several bowls of bantha soup in there, where the next one just shoves the others into the back.
No. The droid is actually capable of understanding that once you have heated something for someone, you have to deliver it. Also, your Imperial ducklings will come and get stuff out of the microwave if it doesn't, so, you know.
CS is a factotum, not a...
Factotum, right. Okay, so...
They're actually an AI.
Yes. Yes, a real one.
Not a souped up mouse droid.
Probably not a souped up mouse droid.
Anyway, I'll let other people play it for a while.
So if you go to what's the station? The one that's on the border of wild space. Kratoa, something like that. Don't get jumped in the lower levels.
They tried to get one onto our ship.
It was in a bucket of gravel.
I don't know.
And then it was in a bucket of gravel with charcoal.
What, they tried to get one of their things?
Yes,
The big ones?
I suppose.
Because it's the little ones that control you that I don't
The
know where
big ones
this comes
don't produce the little... Right.
from. I have no idea. They don't bother to tell people. They just give orders. They gave us one that was dead and we had to put it in a cryo thing. We're supposed to go and sell it in some place where a lot of people and observe what happens.
Oh, hey, that was the ice cream container.
Yeah, that was the ice cream container. The worst ice cream.
You really should have tried to set that to warm.
You think we didn't? It was dead anyway. It was dead when we put it in.
Yeah, well.
It would have stunk.
Ugh.
I'm not sure it was dead.
I see you are alive, awake, and not septic.
I would be really just happy enough being free of that, and it seems like everything else is a bonus. I am still not going to fall to the dark side. He points sort of vaguely in your direction, lets his hand drop.
We get the most interesting passengers on this ship.
I assume you are also not going to produce lightsaber and attempt to sever me from the Force. So
I don't have a lightsaber on me, so I can't cover anything.
I've got a plasma torch you can borrow.
You don't. Lightsabers are not involved in. Never mind that. You are not a marauding Jedi, so whether you fall to the dark side or not is not my concern.
How would I be able to sever you from anything without a lightsaber?
Do you think The Force is a limb.
I thought you were being euphemistic, like make sort of cutting gestures towards his neck.
What?
I mean, technically,
No,
that is one
that's-
way to sever someone from the Force.
No, it's the opposite of that.
You graft
I
a
don't
head
think
on.
I can put an extra head on people either.
That's where Rotini's mind went.
Yeah.
Rotini is there eating some space
Killing
popcorn that was
someone
made in the fridge.
is cutting them off from everything but the Force.
The
The lightsaber
no
is
idea.
because I would resist the attempt.
attempt to knock you out. I'm not going to do that either.
There's like stuff in the walls. Please don't have lightsaber fights in here.
I don't have my
Especially near
lightsaber. I
engineering.
can't have a
don't-
lightsaber fight.
I don't have a lightsaber. I have never had a lightsaber.
Okay,
I'll say
nobody's got
again, I have a
lightsabers.
plasma
That's good
torch.
to know.
You'll have to share though, and it's
Please don't
it's
use
hooked
it.
up. It is hooked up to several supply cables. You wouldn't be able to. It's not portable.
Who wants a drink?
Nothing for me.
Odo
thanks.
waves a hand vaguely.
That sounds like a wonderful idea.
Anyway, I don't know what you're talking about, severing people from the Force. That I don't know. Maybe that was like advanced classes. I dropped out.
I didn't know you could drop out.
I am surprised you were allowed to leave.
Yeah, well, I kind of stomped out and took a ship out to wherever it was going, and no one has caught up with me.
Hey, sounds like my kind of party. Anyway, here are those cocktails I was talking about. Listen, like I'm perfectly happy to have you guys have philosophical discussions, but again, let's keep the lightsabers to a minimum. I know you don't have them. I'm just saying.
I don't think
Lightsabers to a minimum when you're inside the house.
I left
you have
my
to go outside
training
to use the
saber.
lightsabers while we're in hyperspace.
Thanks. No, I don't think so.
I am a priest bureaucrat. I was trained in weaponry, but that doesn't mean I've fought with sabers or a war sword
Okay,
in the
good
course
to know.
of my career.
I didn't know Sith had priest bureaucrats.
Kind of a long story. Like I said, you should talk to them. You should talk to them.
Right. Cleric clerk, not a paladin.
Accurate.
Accurate.
I think Zisha is just making these mistakes in character.
Oh,
Like she's still screwing it up, and she doesn't know why. It's really bothering her. It's really bothering me.
Poor Zisha. Well, I just think that maybe everybody should know that as soon as they figure out whatever it is they're waiting for, they're going to stop just taking over people on that station, and then they're going to be seeing a lot of people out everywhere. I think they're scared of something. They're scared of something, and that's why they sent us.
Also, your
But
ship tried to
then a
follow
bunch
us.
Blow up the station.
Blowing up the
Ooh.
station is kind of awful, but also it's better than leaving people enthralled to those things.
Hey, I've got this guy with me. It's like a 50-50 chance, regardless of what I intend if we go to that station. I'm surprised the planet's still intact back there.
You are too kind. Also, if you look in the shared documents folder, plans 8, 5, and 24 would probably be the best for what we need to do.
Rotini, 7 trips ago, I looked in that shared documents folder. Zisha just takes one of the cocktails and starts like upending it.
yes, that seems like a fair reaction.
Granted, we will need 7 crates of lime jello. Space jello. No, we don't want to be brand specific. Space jello.
Speaking of Jello, she has set the tray of cocktails down on the Dejaric table.
CSD4 is trying to pick the least alcoholic one to give to Kodo
Space jello.
on the
shots.
grounds that the patient just woke up from sedation. Kodo says
There's a Virgin Shirley temple in there for him.
A
You will
space
take
Shirley
that
temple.
one.
A Spurly temple.
By the way, Nedra, that's really her name, right?
Yes, that's really her
As
name.
far as we know.
Yeah,
Well-
she's infected too. She's got
Yeah.
one of
Oh,
these
yeah.
things.
Hoo boy, yeah.
It makes you so tired because they're always in your head and your brain never gets to rest because they're always talking.
I'm actually, Dvorak, I'm a little surprised you haven't done anything about that one. Although I guess you weren't really looking for it before.
Yes, I assumed that it was a purely force parasite. I thought that she had come into contact with one of the ice cream machines, and it had burrowed into her mind in a way that I was unable to solve.
You got the in you right now? And she makes the squishing motion with her thumb and forefinger. Do you have enough energy to do that?
Yes, but I was thinking that it would be better to do it where there's actual medical personnel around.
Yeah, like, no offense, yes.
None taken, Captain.
Yeah, all right. I'll hold off until we get to the rendezvous point.
Just don't turn me over the Empire, okay? But I just think I should tell you that the others are going to be able to probably kind of track us through her.
Oh, well, I mean, this isn't somewhere we haven't been before. And
there's 2 of them on the other ship. They're probably following us. You'd have to ask Netra. I don't know anymore. Yay.
I mean, that's a good thing. Incidentally, just so you know, no, you haven't. You came straight from the med beta to over here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, hey, I'll tell you when we get closer.
So long as you're not planning to sell me to the Empire, I'm just going to finish this drink, and then I'm going to lie down on this couch, and I'm going to stay here until I need a fresher.
Hey, the Imperials are on this ship because I have a moral, like, selling people to other people does not sound like a good time to me.
I have to remake my Reuben
Then I
sandwich
will
because
take
they were going to sell
advantage.
people.
In that case, I will trust in your broad ethics, and he upends the mocktail and sort of keels over.
Yeah, that tracks. Ro, can we set him up with a bunk in engineering?
On it. Wait, engineering? We are running out of rooms.
It's the room that's left, buddy.
I just shoved all my
you've
tchotchkes
probably
into
got
that room. I'm gonna have to make a sign that says touch these, because if I make a sign that says do not touch, then the temptation's too strong. Keep in mind, the temptation is for Rotini, not the guest.
So we're gonna carefully carry Kodo over to engineering, where he can be kept asleep by the soothing sound of the thrum of the engine
and the tick tick tick
and zonk
tick
out
tick
of 30-second bombs that are not actually armed.
Yes.
That was such a wasted critical success.
You carry the sleeping ex-Padawan in with a critical success on telekinesis other, like a baby. He does not notice that you are using dark energies around him. He just softly until you set him upon the cot or bulkheads or pile of blankets or whatever that has been set up.
And coincidentally, there is no sand or cacti within a half light year of us.
Too.
Which is,
and alas,
technically there wasn't any before.
But
so I don't know why I bring it up.
And alas, I am going to have to leave us with the zooming out slowly image of the sleeping ex-Padawan fade out, fade through the hull of the ship and into the starfield as you go whoosh away, because I need to give the cat her feeding, and, alas, the GM must run off. Yeah, see, it's a great cause here. So, I've been Beth. Thank you all for having fun playing, I hope. I hope people have been having fun listening. And I was joined by Crash and Ellie and EO. And does anyone have anything to plug?
You do.
I do?
You do.
Well, I've got my fanfic at Archangel Beth at archiveofourown.org. Do I have anything else to plug?
You do.
Oh, right. I write books at elizabethmccoy.com. Yes. There's the book icon, or book gif. And
And you should ask for books from Elizabeth McCoy at your local library.
science fiction fantasy books, because there are other people with my name who have also written books, but if you ask for them in the science fiction fantasy, I'm the one who's written so far.
There are many Elizabeth McCoys, but only one has written Pride and Prejudice.
Indeed. Which is how you make Pride and Prejudice even more hilarious.
And they weren't even rape
Because they were not. Okay, I'm waiting for you to hit the
I did not
now.
load it up fast enough.
Versus. There it is. Yeah, Bingley is orange. Darcy's an Abyssinian.
I'll be seeing you.
Bingley is orange.
And speaking of
Me.
Websites.
yes, websites.
AaronBSmith.com/cogwheel is where you can go to get all of our podcasts. You can also follow us on the Fediverse at is.aaronbsmith.com/@cogwheel. And we have a Patreon at patreon.com/cogwheelgaming, where you can help us keep the lights on along with other illustrious patrons, including Ellie, Shanshan, Walter, Liv Droman, and patron emeritus Cindy.
And until next time, that over there is Beth saying,
We need to catch them and we need to shut them all up, right? Right. We need to catch them, make them shut up. And right, that's what we do. Good night, everyone.
ba 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 ba.
I think that's the wrong.
That
good night.
is legally distinct fanfare. It's fine. Also, we have our own theme song.
Yeah, well.
Good night.